Captain Mira Dalen stood at the front window of the human research ship Horizon Wake, watching the strange colors outside. The region of space they had entered was not like normal space. It was calm one moment and full of moving waves of light the next. These waves looked almost like water, flowing across the dark background of the stars. Mira had explored many dangerous places, but she had never seen anything like this. The place was called the Tidal Expanse, a part of the galaxy that old star maps described with fear. The maps called it a sea of storms, where ships vanished without a trace. Many civilizations avoided it, but humans were curious. Humans wanted to know why the storms acted like ocean waves, why ruins of old ships floated inside, and why no one returned once they went too deep. The Horizon Wake was a small ship, only meant for study, not battle. But it was fast, strong, and built with the best sensors humans had. Mira believed it was enough. Her crew was small but skilled. Rafi Cade, the chief engineer, Hannah Sell, the linguist and historian, Dr. Lin, who studied cosmic storms, and a few support crew members. Mira kept her voice calm as she gave orders. "Hold our speed. Scan every direction. If anything looks strange, tell me right away." Rafi answered from behind her. "Captain, in this place everything looks strange." Everyone laughed softly. Their nervousness eased. As they moved forward, the waves of energy parted like water around a boat. These waves were quiet, but Mira knew they could turn violent suddenly. That was what made the tidal expanse so dangerous. It behaved like an ocean with moods, calm now, deadly later. After a few minutes, the ship's sensors beeped. Dr. Lin frowned at the readings. "Captain, I'm picking up large shapes ahead, many of them." Mira straightened. "Are they ships?" "That's the thing," Lin replied. "They look like ships, but they're not human, not modern, and not from any civilization we know. They're just floating." Mira's heart beat faster. This was exactly what she came for. "Bring us closer," she ordered. Slowly, carefully, the Horizon Wake approached the strange shapes. As the light waves moved aside, the full view appeared. Everyone gasped. Huge ship ruins drifted silently in the empty space, as if resting on an invisible ocean. Some were bent or broken. Others looked mostly whole, but were clearly lifeless. Their designs were ancient, rounded shapes, tall structures, and curved hulls, as if they had once sailed on real water, not through space. One looked like a giant metal ship from old Earth stories, but mixed with technology far ahead of anything humans had ever seen. Another had sails made of crystal-like material that no longer glowed. A third ship was long, flat, and covered with carvings. Each ruin had drifted for so long that the storms had smoothed their edges. Hannah whispered, "It's like a graveyard of lost worlds." No one disagreed. As they drifted closer, Rafi pointed to a cluster of ruins. "Captain, look at that one. It has markings from at least 4 different species. This wasn't a ship. It was some kind of meeting place." Mira nodded slowly. "A multi-species alliance, maybe? Very old." The idea made the moment even heavier. These ruins were not just broken machines. They were parts of history, forgotten by most of the galaxy. Mira felt a strange respect. Whoever built these ships had tried to travel through the tidal expanse long before humans even knew it existed, and they had failed. Before Mira could speak again, the ship shook slightly. Dr. Lin quickly checked the sensors. "Captain, a storm is forming." Mira looked out the front window. The calm waves around them began to rise and twist like water touched by a sudden wind. The colors grew brighter, shifting from soft blue to bright gold. Rafi stood up. "We need to pull back before the storm fully wakes." But the storm moved fast. A wall of shimmering energy rose in the distance, shaped like a giant wave. It was beautiful, but also powerful. Mira kept her voice firm. Shields to full. Hold position until we understand the storm's direction. The wave of energy rolled toward them. The ship's shields lit up as it struck. The entire ship vibrated, chairs shaking, lights flickering. Mira gripped the railing in front of her. "Hold steady!" she shouted. The crew worked fast. Raffi adjusted the power to the shields. Lynn read the storm's pattern. Hana observed how the wave moved, trying to see if the ancient ships reacted. But the ancient ruins floated calmly. They were too old to move, too damaged to respond. The storm hit them without resistance, pushing some ruins slightly off their places. Another wave formed. This one was higher, stronger. "Captain," Lynn said urgently, "if we stay still, our shields won't last through the next wave." "Then we ride it." Mira made the decision quickly. Raffi stared at her. "Ride it?" "Captain, this isn't water. It's a cosmic wave." "True," she said. "But it behaves like water. We can use its motion to move with it, not against it. Adjust the thrusters, match the wave's direction." It was a crazy idea, but humans had always been known for their boldness. No other species tried such things. That was exactly why Mira tried it. "Follow my timing," she ordered. The wave approached. Mira watched it carefully, seeing how it curved. She noticed a small, calm pocket near its top, a moment where the energy dipped. That was their chance. "Now!" she shouted. Raffi adjusted the thrusters instantly. The horizon wake tilted slightly and moved with the rising wave. The first half was rough. The ship shook as energy pushed from all sides. But as they reached the calm pocket, the ride softened. They were gliding. The crew looked at Mira with wide eyes. Lynn whispered, "Captain, it actually worked." But the storm wasn't over. Another set of waves formed, each larger than the last. They moved like tides, flowing upward and then falling back, creating a cycle. Hana suddenly pointed at the radar. "Captain, we are not alone. A ship is watching us." Mira turned quickly. On the far edge of the expanse, a small alien patrol ship floated silently. Its shape was sharp and smooth, belonging to a species known for careful and cautious behavior. They avoided danger and rarely respected anyone who took reckless risks. But their ship remained still, clearly observing. Raffi snorted. "They probably think we're out of our minds." "Maybe," Mira said, "but they're watching because they didn't expect humans to enter the expanse." Another wave rose behind them. Mira kept her hands steady. "We survived this storm," she said softly, "and they'll know exactly who humans are." The next wave hit, bigger and brighter. The horizon wake moved up with it, riding the energy like a small ship on a giant ocean. Every light inside flickered, every panel shook, but Mira refused to show fear. "Hold on," she yelled. The final wave passed over them, and then the storm began to calm. The waves lowered, flattening back into quiet streams of light. The crew breathed out in relief. Lynn checked the sensors. "We made it through the storm, safely," Hana added, "and the alien ship is still watching." Mira allowed herself a small smile. "Good. Let them watch." The horizon wake continued forward, deeper into the tidal expanse. Behind them, the alien ship slowly backed away, as if giving silent respect. No one else had ever entered the expanse and survived the first storm. But humans had. For the first time, Mira felt the expanse was not trying to destroy them. It was testing them. And they had passed. The horizon wake moved slowly through the calm that followed the storm. The glowing waves of light drifted lazily now, no longer sharp or violent. The calm felt almost gentle, like the expanse was giving them a short rest after testing them. But the crew knew the calm would not last forever. Captain Mira Dalen stood at the main window, quietly watching the drifting ruins around them. The ancient ships floated like silent mountains in space. Some pieces were larger than the horizon wake. Some were so big that the crew could not see their full size even with the ship's lights. Dr. Lin checked the readings on her panel again. "Captain, we are picking up faint power signals from that large ruin ahead. Very old, but still active." Mira raised an eyebrow. "Old ships still have power? After so many thousands of years?" Lin nodded. "Barely, but something inside is not fully dead." Raffi leaned closer to Mira. "Captain, if something inside still works, maybe it can tell us what happened here." Hana added softly, "And maybe it can tell us why the storms behave like this." Mira agreed. "Prepare a landing team. Raffi, Hana, you're with me. Dr. Lin, stay on the ship and monitor the energy waves." "Yes, Captain," Lin said. The landing craft detached from the horizon wake and drifted toward the massive ruin. As they approached, the details of the ancient ship grew clearer. Its hull was covered in carvings and symbols. Some were smooth lines that glowed faintly. Others were rough shapes cut into metal long ago. Hana stared at them with interest. "These symbols, they belong to many different species. This ship was not from one group. It was built by many." "An alliance?" Raffi asked. "Most likely. They must have gathered here with a common purpose." Mira kept her eyes forward as they entered the docking area. The place was dark, but the landing craft's lights revealed long hallways and wide open spaces. Everything was covered in dust and faint energy residue. The team stepped out carefully. The moment their feet touched the ancient floor, a soft hum echoed, like a sleeping machine sensing movement for the first time in ages. Small lights flickered along the walls, glowing dimly. Raffi whispered, "This place, it's waking up." They moved through the hallway, their footsteps echoing. Every corner of the ruin told a silent story. Abandoned tools lay scattered around. A half-finished metal panel leaned against the wall, as if someone had been working on it and suddenly stopped. Hana touched a small crystal panel on the wall. It flickered and showed faint symbols. "Look," she said softly. "These are emergency messages." Mira nodded. "Translate what you can." Hana studied the symbols. They represented words from many species, but the message was simple. "Storm growing, engines failing, crew separated, trying to hold." Raffi looked around the hallway again. They knew the storm was coming. They tried to prepare. The team continued moving inside. The deeper they went, the colder the air felt, as if the ruin was holding memories of fear and silence. They entered a room filled with floating seats and old screens. Everything was dusty, frozen in time. Hana pointed at the walls. "Captain, look, someone carved messages into the metal." They approached the carvings. The words were rough, made by hands or tools in a hurry. "We held the line. The storms returned stronger. We cannot leave. Beware the resonance tide." Mira repeated the last line quietly. "The resonance tide. What does that mean?" Hana shook her head. "We don't know yet, but it sounds like something that comes again and again." Raffi walked toward a large metal door at the back of the room. It was slightly open. He pushed it wider and stepped inside. The chamber behind it was circular and large. Soft blue light pulsed from the floor as if responding to their presence. "Captain!" Raffi called. "You need to see this." Mira and Hana joined him. In the center of the room stood several small glowing objects. They floated gently above the ground, turning slowly. They looked like transparent spheres, each holding streams of moving light inside. Hana gasped. "Data crystals. Very old ones. These must be memory records." Mira reached out but stopped her hand just before touching the nearest crystal. "Can we activate them?" she asked. Hana nodded. "Yes. If the power is still working, the crystals will respond to movement." She waved her hand slowly across the nearest crystal. The sphere brightened. Light spiraled inside, forming images that floated into the air like holograms. The first image showed the ship long ago, still alive. Many different species walked its halls. The colors were bright, the atmosphere filled with activity. They were preparing something big, Hannah said. The second image showed a map of the tidal expanse, but the storms on the map were much larger than the ones the horizon wake had faced. They glowed bright white, towering like real ocean storms. Raffi frowned. Those storms are massive. Yes, Hannah said. Much stronger than the ones today. The expanse must have changed over time. The third image was different. It showed a small figure standing near a giant storm. The figure looked almost human. 2 legs, 2 arms, human-like height, dressed in a simple suit. Mira stepped closer. Hannah, is that a human? Hannah studied the image. It looks very similar, but this recording is extremely old, older than human space travel. It may be a different species that just looks like humans. Or maybe humans were here long before we thought. The idea made Mira's heart beat faster. Humans were young in the galaxy. But this image suggested something else, something unknown. The fourth image changed again. It showed the inside of the ship shaking violently. Crew members ran across the halls. The bright storms outside the windows twisted like giant waves. The ship's old engines glowed too brightly. They tried to escape, Raffi said quietly. The final image flickered, then formed a single phrase in many languages. The resonance tide returns. The crystal dimmed and floated back into its silent spin. The room fell quiet. Mira looked at her team. Whatever happened here, it's not over. The resonance tide is still coming. Suddenly, the floor beneath them vibrated. A soft pulse echoed through the ship. The walls glowed faintly. Hannah spun toward the symbols on the wall. Captain, the ship is reacting to us. Raffi checked his devices. This pulse, it's a signal. We activated something. Another pulse followed, stronger this time. The lights along the hallway outside flickered, then brightened. Mira spoke quickly. We need to return to the horizon wake, now. They hurried back through the hallways. As they moved, the old systems continued waking up, lights turning on, strange hums rising from the deeper sections of the ship, doors opening on their own. It was as if the ancient ruins sensed the presence of life again. When they reached the docking area, the landing craft door opened automatically. They boarded quickly and lifted off. As they moved away from the ruin, the ancient ship released a final pulse of energy. It shot upward like a soft flare. Dr. Lin contacted them immediately. Captain, something is happening. I'm detecting a low-frequency wave spreading through the entire expanse. Mira stared at the glowing ruin behind them. We activated its warning, Hannah added. The message said the resonance tide returns. Raffi looked at Mira. Captain, whatever is coming, the ancient ships knew it was dangerous. Mira sat back in her seat, her expression firm. Then we need to learn everything we can before it arrives. The landing craft docked with the horizon wake. As the doors opened, the crew stepped back on board. Outside their window, the ruins drifted peacefully again, hiding their secrets behind silent metal walls. But now the crew knew the expanse was not just a graveyard. It was a place that remembered, and something within it was beginning to wake. The horizon wake drifted deeper into the tidal expanse, surrounded by silent ancient ruins. The soft pulses of energy from the large Alliance ship still echoed faintly across space. Each pulse felt like a heartbeat from something old, something waiting. Captain Mira Dalen watched the scanner screen carefully. Lines of data scrolled down, showing rising energy waves from every direction. Dr. Lin spoke first. Captain, the pulses are spreading across the entire region. It's almost like a signal moving through the expanse. Mira nodded. Do you think the ruins reacted to us? Raffi answered. More than reacted. I think the ship we visited tried to warn us. Those carvings on the wall were not just panic messages. They were instructions. Hana added quietly. The final message was, the resonance tide returns. These pulses are probably the first signs. Mira breathed slowly, gathering her thoughts. Whatever the resonance tide was, the ancient alliance feared it. That alone made it dangerous. But she also felt something else, something she didn't say out loud. Humans had always faced the unknown with courage. They had survived storms, built ships, and crossed galaxies. If the resonance tide was coming, they would not run. Everyone, Mira said. Prepare the ship for heightened alert. Keep shields ready and monitor the storm flow. We need to understand the rhythm before the next wave forms. The crew got to work. As the horizon wake moved forward, the ruins began to shift. Slowly, gently, they drifted in one direction, as if following an invisible current. Captain, Lynn said, pointing at the screen, all the ruins are moving. Every one of them. That's impossible, Raffi whispered. They have no power. But they're reacting, Hana said. Something in the expanse is pulling them. The ruins aligned themselves like ships preparing for formation. Long, broken vessels pointed their front ends in the same direction. Smaller fragments rotated smoothly. Even the ancient Alliance ship they had visited tilted slightly. It was almost like the ruins remembered, and something in the expanse was calling them. Captain, Hana said with a shaky breath, the ancient ships must have had a system that connected them during storms. Maybe they used the storm's energy to travel. Mira looked at Raffi. Is that possible? He hesitated only a moment. Humans use fuel, gravity, and engines. But these old vessels, they used something else, something more advanced. They used resonance. Meaning? Mira asked. Meaning, Raffi explained. They matched the frequency of the storm instead of fighting it. They used it like a sail uses wind. He tapped his panel. Numbers jumped across the screen. If we can adjust our ship to match the storm's frequency, we can move with the waves instead of against them. Hana's eyes widened. Just like how you guided us through the first storm. Mira remembered the way the ship had glided through the energy wave. It had felt like riding the tide of an ocean. This is more complex, Raffi said, but not impossible. The ship suddenly shook. Lights flickered. A deep, low rumble echoed from outside. Dr. Lin shouted, Captain, another storm is forming. Much stronger than the last one. Mira looked at the main window. Far ahead, the glowing waves of the expanse began rising like mountains of light. Tall columns of twisting energy formed, spinning like whirlpools. The colors were brighter, almost white at the center. Hana whispered, This must be the resonance tide. The storm grew rapidly. Every few seconds, another wave rose higher than the one before it. The storm was alive. Mira made her decision. Raffi, she said, we must activate the resonance system. Raffi blinked. Captain, we don't have one. Then we build one, Mira said. Use the readings from the ancient ship. Use the storm's frequency. Use anything we have. Raffi stared at her for a moment, then nodded. On it. He ran toward the engineering bay. Mira turned to Hana and Dr. Lin. Find patterns in the storm. Look at the pulses, the rhythm. We need to match it. Hana and Lin sat down at their panels, typing rapidly. The ship vibrated again, harder this time. The storm was coming fast. Raffi worked with speed and focus. He opened the lower engine panels and pulled out cables, connecting them to new circuits. He added stabilizers, small sensors, and resonance spheres taken from the storage room. Sweat covered his forehead. His fingers shook, but his work was precise. This is our only chance, he muttered. The ship shook again. A loud crack echoed through the hallways. The storm had hit the outer edge of the shields. Raffi felt the deck tilt slightly. The ship was being pushed. He tightened the last bolts, then hit the panel. The resonance system hummed to life. Soft white light spread across the engine room. He grabbed his communicator. "Captain, it's ready!" Mira responded instantly. "Activate it!" Raffi pressed the main switch. A wave of soft vibration spread through the ship. The lights steadied. The engines hummed in a new tone, almost musical. On the main deck, Hannah looked at her screen. "Captain, the resonance frequency is rising. We're matching the storm!" Dr. Lin shouted. "The storm currents are shifting around us. We're becoming part of the flow." Mira stared at the front window. The massive storm wave was almost upon them. "All right," she said calmly. "Let's ride it." The wave hit, but instead of shaking violently, the ship rose smoothly. The horizon wake lifted upward on the bright wave, sliding along the surface like a small boat on an ocean tide. The energy pushed them forward, not backward. The entire crew felt the movement. It was powerful, fast, and strangely gentle. Hannah breathed. "Captain, we're storm riding." Another wave came, larger. The ship followed its curve, rising higher, then dipping into a valley of calm light. Dr. Lin stared at the readings. "We're moving faster than light-speed jumps. The storm is carrying us." Mira held on to the railing. "Stay alert. We don't know where this wave leads." As the ship moved with the storm, the ancient ruins around them also shifted. They floated along the wave's path, scattered but unified. Some ruins tilted, others rolled, but all moved with purpose. It was as if the ruins were alive again, following a command older than any modern species. The horizon wake rode between two giant ruins, both glowing faintly. Their ancient resonance engines reacted to the storm, flickering with weak lights. Hannah whispered, "Captain, the ancient ships were storm riders too." Mira felt a deep respect for them. They had mastered a force that humans were only just learning to control. But something else caught her eye. Far in the distance, at the end of the storm's path, a bright cluster of lights glowed, large, close, and powerful. Lin zoomed in on the screen. "Captain, that looks like a structure, huge, bigger than anything we've seen." Hannah's voice was barely a whisper. "The sunken armada." Raffi returned to the deck, breathing heavily but smiling. "We did it, Captain. We built a resonance rider." Mira nodded proudly. "Good work." But then the storm shifted again. A loud roar echoed outside. The waves twisted, forming spirals. The energy grew stronger, brighter. Dr. Lin frowned. "Captain, the wave is guiding us directly toward that structure." "Not guiding," Hannah corrected. "Calling, like the ruins. The expanse wants us to reach it." Mira tightened her grip on the railing. "We hold our course. We see where this storm takes us." The horizon wake rode higher, the lights around them sparkling like stars being pulled into motion. The ruins followed in a long trail behind them. The ship moved deeper and deeper, carried by the storm's enormous force. The unknown structure grew clearer, large, ancient, and waiting. The resonance tide had returned. And now it was guiding them to the heart of the expanse. The storm clouds above the ancient sea grew heavier, as if the sky was preparing to test everyone again. The drifting ruins of old ships, scattered all across the dark water, floated like ghosts from another age. Their broken masts looked like long fingers pointing toward the sky, and their hulls creaked with every soft wave, as if whispering forgotten warnings. Ryan stood on the deck of the Seeker's Hope as it slowly approached a strange glow ahead. This glow was coming from the largest ruin they had seen so far, an enormous ship with metal plates, old symbols, and strange lights moving inside its cracks. It looked half alive, half broken, as if something inside it refused to die even after thousands of years. Lyra joined him at the railing. "It is waking up," she said softly. "The currents around it. They are moving like heartbeat waves." Ryan nodded. Then this must be the core of the storm ruins. Kale, the engineer, stepped beside them, holding a scanning device. "Energy level is rising again. Same frequency we saw earlier. Something inside is alive, or at least active." No one spoke for a moment. The idea of something ancient and powerful being awake inside that drifting ruin made their hearts beat faster. Not from fear alone, but from the weight of discovering something truly important. The captain, Arwen, walked forward. "Prepare the boarding team. We go inside. Everyone gets a shield pack and light plates. We don't know what waits for us." Ryan adjusted his gear. He knew this moment was going to change everything. The strange storms, the trapped ships, the ancient glow, everything pointed to something hidden deep in the heart of these ruins. Maybe a machine, maybe a life form, maybe a secret older than human travel across the stars. Whatever it was, they would face it now. Entering the giant ship, a narrow bridge extended from the Seeker's Hope to the drifting ruin. Waves splashed below, glowing with faint blue light as if excited by the energy inside the ancient vessel. The team stepped forward: Ryan, Lyra, Kale, Captain Arwen, plus 3 security members. Their steps echoed inside the metal corridor. The air was warm, not cold like abandoned places usually were, warm and breathing. Every few seconds, the walls pulsed with a soft glow. Lyra looked around. "These patterns, they remind me of old ocean creatures, like shells and scales." Kale touched the wall lightly. "But it's metal, some kind of living metal, or at least responsive." As they moved deeper, the corridor opened into a wide chamber. It was filled with ancient machines, all arranged in circles around a large central pillar. The pillar was cracked, glowing from inside with bright silver light that pulsed like a heartbeat. Arwen raised her hand, signaling silence. Then they heard it. A soft humming sound, rising, falling, almost like a song. Ryan stepped forward slowly, eyes fixed on the central pillar. "It's calling us," Kale swallowed nervously. "Or warning us." Lyra shook her head. "No, the energy feels calm, sad even." They moved closer. The memory core awakens. The pillar's glow grew brighter as they approached. And suddenly, tiny lights rose from its cracks, small floating shapes like glowing feathers. They circled the team once, twice, and then drifted back toward the pillar. Then the pillar opened. It split into 4 sections, folding back like petals of a flower, revealing a sphere floating inside. The sphere was smooth, silver, and covered in small flowing symbols. It floated gently, spinning slowly, as if it was thinking or dreaming. Arwen whispered, "This is ancient technology." Kale's voice trembled with awe. "Older than any human ship, older than anything in our records." The sphere pulsed. A soft voice echoed through the chamber, not spoken, not mechanical, but something in between. "Who seeks the memories of the Sea Guardians?" The team froze. Ryan stepped forward carefully. "We are explorers, humans from the new seas of the stars. We found your ruins drifting in the storms." The sphere glowed brighter. "Humans. You are young, curious, restless. Why have you entered the sacred drift?" Arwen replied calmly. "Because your ruins are causing storms. Ships vanish. Many lives are in danger." For a moment, the light dimmed, as if thinking. Then the sphere spoke again, slower this time. "We drift because we cannot rest. We drift because our storms protect what remains." Lyra exchanged a confused look with Ryan. "Protect? Protect what?" The sphere turned slightly toward them. "The storms guard the last core of our knowledge, the last memory of our people. Without the storms, the core would fall into the wrong hands." Kale frowned. But the storms are taking ships. Many innocents. The sphere responded with a gentle sadness. We never wished for harm. We once walked these seas guiding travelers. But our world ended. Our machines still follow the last command, to protect our memories, no matter the cost. Rian felt a deep ache in his chest. This ancient race had died, leaving behind machines that still tried to follow a forgotten purpose, unaware of the damage they caused. Arwen took a step forward. We can help you. Let us find a way to stop the storms without losing your memories. The sphere's glow flickered. Can you carry the burden of knowledge that ended us? Ryan answered firmly. If it means saving our people and honoring yours, yes. The ship around them hummed loudly. Sparks of silver light moved across the walls, forming patterns like waves and wind. The sphere rose higher. Then see, our final storm. Visions of the past. The chamber suddenly filled with light. Ryan felt a soft push against his mind, not forceful, not painful, but guiding. Images formed around the team. They saw an ancient ocean planet, bright and beautiful. Ships like glowing shells sailed across the water. Towers rose from islands. Creatures moved below the waves, glowing with peaceful light. Then the storms came, huge waves, endless thunder, energy spirals rising from the oceans. The sea guardians, beings made of light and gentle scales, tried to calm the storms. But something deep in the planet had changed. A machine older than even their civilization had awakened, corrupting the balance. The storms destroyed their cities, sank their fleets, and faded their people. The last survivors placed their memories into the core, commanding their machines to protect it until the danger ended. But the danger never ended. The vision faded, leaving the team silent. Lyra wiped her eyes. They were peaceful. They just wanted to save their history. Arwen inhaled deeply. We must help them rest. The sphere floated lower, weak now. The storms are failing. Soon the core will collapse. If you wish to save us, follow the light. A thin beam shot out of the sphere, pointing deeper into the ship. Ryan nodded. We go. Into the heart of the storm engine. They followed the beam through more corridors until they reached a massive chamber filled with moving liquid-light machinery. At the center, a storm engine spun slowly, creating waves of energy. Kale examined it. If we shut it down carefully, the storms will stop, but if we shut it wrong, the core might explode. Arwen looked at Ryan. You lead. You have the strongest connection with the sphere. Ryan stepped forward. The engine changed. The glowing parts rearranged gently, showing him a pattern, like the machine was guiding him, trusting him. Lyra read the floating symbols. It's showing you the shutdown path, like a puzzle. Ryan moved his hands, touching the glowing nodes in the sequence the machine showed him. Each touch made the engine slow a little more. One step wrong could end everything. But Ryan moved with calm, careful focus. At last, he touched the final node. The engine made one deep, slow hum. Then everything went quiet. The storms fall silent. The glowing machinery dimmed. The walls stopped pulsing. The ship felt lighter, peaceful. Outside, through cracks in the hull, they saw the ocean clouds calming. The storms that had raged for centuries finally rested. Lyra exhaled in relief. We did it. Arwen smiled softly. The storms are gone. The sphere returned, dim but peaceful. You have freed us. Our memories now rest. The seas will be safe again. Humans, you carry courage in your hearts. For this, we thank you. It slowly faded until only gentle light remained. Ryan whispered, They can finally sleep. The ancient ship creaked softly, not in danger, but in peace, like a final sigh. The team walked back toward their ship, knowing that the last part of their journey was waiting. The storms were gone, but something new was beginning. The storms had ended, yet the ancient sea felt strangely silent. No thunder, no wild winds, no shaking waves, only a calm surface stretching far into the mist. It was the first time in many ages that this ocean rested peacefully, and the air around the drifting ruins felt lighter, almost gentle. Ryan stood on the deck of the Seeker's Hope, breathing deeply. The sea smelled different now, not of danger but of soft rain and faint warmth. The sun above finally shone through the clouds, breaking into soft rays that sparkled on the water. He felt like the whole world had changed. Lyra stepped beside him, her eyes scanning the horizon. "It feels like the sea is breathing for the first time." Cale tapped his scanner. "Energy spikes dropped to 0. The storm engine is fully offline. No more sudden spirals or strange currents." Arwen nodded with relief. "Then we've done it. The storms are over." But even as she said it, Ryan sensed something was not finished. They had freed the Sea Guardians' memories, yes, but their ruins were still drifting. Their light still glowed faintly. Their presence felt incomplete, like one last word remained unsaid. The ruins around them groaned softly as the sea calmed. Wooden ships, metal plates, broken hulls, and ancient symbols drifted quietly. For the first time, these ruins looked peaceful rather than threatening. Ryan watched the largest ruin, the massive ship where they had found the memory core. Its lights were dim now, slowly fading like embers after a long night. It was settling into eternal rest. "It's beautiful," Lyra whispered. "Peaceful," Cale added. But Ryan shook his head gently. "It's not calling us anymore. Something else is." The last signal. A soft beep from Cale's device interrupted them. Captain? Something strange. I'm getting one last signal. It's weak, but it's definitely from the ruins." Arwen frowned. "From the memory core?" "No, from deeper, lower, somewhere under the sea." Lyra leaned closer. "Another machine?" Cale shook his head. "Not exactly. It feels like energy shaped into a message." Ryan's heart tightened. The Sea Guardians' memories were gone. But maybe they left something behind, something for whoever helped them. Arwen ordered, "Prepare a drone. If the sea is calm now, we can send it deep." Within minutes, the drone splashed into the water. Its small lights disappeared under the surface, sending clear images back to the team. They watched on the screen as the drone went deeper and deeper. The water below used to be filled with violent energy currents, but now it was calm and clear. Soft blue light settled like dust in slow waves. Then the screen shifted. Lyra gasped. "Look!" At the bottom of the sea lay a circular platform, huge, perfectly shaped, and made of the same glowing metal they saw inside the ruins. It was cracked in places, but still strong. Symbols ran across it like flowing script. And at the center was a small column of light. The drone approached. The light brightened. A gentle pulse came through the speakers, soft, warm, and familiar. "For those who freed us, come." Ryan stepped back slightly. "It's calling us." Arwen looked at the crew. "Lower the sub. We go down." Descent into the calm. The small exploration sub, Waveseeker, was lowered into the sea. Ryan, Lyra, Cale, and Arwen took their seats. The hatch sealed, and the sub began its descent. Outside the windows, the calm water looked almost magical. Fish-like shapes glowed faintly. Strange sea plants waved slowly like soft hands greeting them. "It feels alive," Lyra whispered. Arwen nodded. "Maybe this ocean belonged to them, to the Sea Guardians." Ryan watched the glow from the ruins fade as the sub moved deeper. "If this is their last message, we must honor it." As they neared the sea floor, the platform became clear. It was larger than they imagined, big enough to hold several ships. The cracks on its surface glowed softly, like fading memories. The column of light at its center grew brighter as they approached. Kale breathed slowly. "I think it wants us to step out." Arwen ordered, "Suit up, prepare for pressure balance." Once ready, they stepped out of the sub in their pressure suits. The seafloor felt soft when they landed, and the water around them shimmered gently. It didn't feel dangerous. It felt welcoming. They walked toward the glowing column. Ryan felt his heartbeat match its soft pulse. The gift of the Sea Guardians. As they reached the light, the column expanded, forming a circle around them. The water inside the ring turned clear as glass. The symbols along the platform glowed brighter, swirling around their feet like soft currents. Then, above them, shapes formed from light. Not clear figures, not full beings, just outlines, shapes moving gently like memories made visible. They were the Sea Guardians. Their presence felt calm, ancient, and kind. A soft voice echoed through the water. "You have ended our storms. You have freed our last memory. Now we pass on what little remains." Lyra stepped forward. "What do you want from us?" The light pulsed. "Only that you remember. Only that you do not repeat what drowned our world." Kale whispered, "They want us to protect our own seas, our own worlds." A soft flicker formed between the figures, something small, floating downward. It was a crystal-like object, glowing silver. Ryan reached out gently and caught it. The moment he touched it, he felt warmth, gentle waves moving through him, like someone placing a soft hand on his shoulder. "This is our last gift," the voice said. "A piece of our knowledge, a seed of our peace. Use it wisely." Ryan held the crystal close, feeling its calm heartbeat like rhythm. Lyra whispered, "It's beautiful." Arwen added, "It's priceless." The shapes of the Sea Guardians faded slowly, like mist drifting away. "Thank you, travelers of the new sea. May your world never drown." The light circle faded. The column dissolved into gentle particles. The platform dimmed, glowing only faintly. Their final message was complete. Return to the surface. Inside the sub, no one spoke for a long time. The crystal lay secured inside a case between them. Its soft light filled the cabin. Lyra finally said, "We're carrying the last hope of an entire people." Kale nodded. "And maybe a warning." Ryan looked out the window as the sub rose toward the surface. "And a promise. We promise to help. We promise to remember." Arwen smiled softly. "Humanity has been given trust. We will not break it." When they reached the surface, the calm sea greeted them with warm sunlight. The Seeker's hope waited, its crew watching with relief as the sub was pulled aboard. Everyone gathered as Ryan held up the crystal. Kale explained, "This contains ancient knowledge. We don't know what kind, energy, navigation, storms, or maybe ocean science, but it's alive with data." Arwen stood before the crew. "We will deliver it safely to the research stations, but this journey, this mission, shows something important." The crew leaned closer. Arwen continued, "Humanity is not alone in the universe. Others lived before us. Some fell before us. But today, we honored a civilization lost in time. We helped their final wish come true." Ryan felt warmth in his chest. The Sea Guardians were gone, but their kindness lingered like soft waves. A new beginning. That evening, Ryan stood alone at the railing. The sea was calm, glowing faintly under the setting sun. He held the case with the crystal gently, feeling its warmth through the cover. The ruins around them were sinking slowly, finally resting at the bottom of the sea without storms to push them. They belonged to history now, not danger. Lyra joined him quietly. "You think they're at peace now?" Ryan nodded. "Yes. And now, their story becomes part of ours." Kale approached with a smile. And this crystal? It might change everything we know about ancient tech. Arwen walked across the deck, the wind brushing her coat. Prepare our course. We head home. As the ship began to move, calm waves broke behind them. The ocean hummed softly, peaceful for the first time in ages. Ryan looked at the horizon. The storms were gone. The Guardians were resting. The sea had chosen humanity to carry its last memory. And with that choice, a new chapter for humans among the stars was beginning.